Alright, what is up YouTube? This is Space Captain again with another battle report of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Today we got matched play, 2,000 points. This will be the first game of a campaign narrative that I'm playing against one of my good buddies. And we have Skaven versus the Undead. For the first game of this campaign, we decided to go into an objective-based scenario, so let's get into it. If you are to have more models than the enemy within 3 inches of the objectives, you score 1 point. If you have more than your opponent, you win. About as simple as that. We have 4 objective points, so you know if it's a tie, it's a tie. If you have more, then you win. If you have less, you lose. All right, now let's get into the lore. On the outskirts of Shadespire, in a long abandoned town, there had been rumor of artifacts of great power lying in the ruins. Excavation teams all over the realm had heard news of this. It is rumored to be a shard of the Blade of Kaine, the Elven God of War from the first invasion of Chaos, a time where the gods themselves fought over control of the mortal realms, as the gods were caught in conflict and the ethereal blades crossed, sent a shard-like meteorite into the realm of the mortals. A chance to imbue a necromancer with the literal gift from the warps seemed too enticing to pass up. An army of the undead rises under the necromancer's command to claim the shard of power. Meanwhile, a brood of rat-men under the command of Packmaster Krul tunnel and excavate underneath of the city to search for this very valuable treasure, with hopes to scavenge and sell the great artifact for a hefty coin. In the twilight hours, when the moon is highest in the sky, conflict arose as the Vermin Lord Corruptor took control with his great magic, erasing all fear and will from the fellow ratmen. Now Krul, under the demon's command, sends them to their death to claim power for the Vermin Lord himself. Alright, y'all, that was a little bit of lore. So right here we have the board. We have these objective points that are represented by dice. A little bit later on we found some candles, but right now we have a little animal actor up in the top left. That's James. Hi, James. Alright, so here is the board. We got some trees all along the side. We have a couple of impassable pieces of terrain. Basically everything is impassable, there are no windows, and yeah. Okay, so here we have the setup. We have the Skaven on the left, the Undead on the right. On the side of the Skaven, we have, they all look like clan rats, but I assure you, this is a molder list. So we have 36 giant rats with a Packmaster on the left, a Vermin Lord Corruptor in the center, 36 giant rats with the Packmaster on the right. Since I, basically was in the Molder territory, I went ahead and I took Rat Ogres as my battle line. So I have a unit of 4 Rat Ogres. I think he might have gotten hit on my way over there to take that picture, or maybe the cat did it. Who knows? Anyway, so we have 4 Rat Ogres on the left, a unit of 2 right in the center, a Hell Pit next to that, 1 Poison Wind Globe mortar, and also another unit of 4 Rat Ogres to the right. The Hell Pit and the Rat Ogres and the Giant Rats all have a Packmaster with them. My whole reasoning behind this was back when I played 6th edition, there was this really awesome story of basically a tale between Molder and the vampires, and it really just inspired me to, I don't really use Rat Ogres that often because they tend to kind of just let me down every once in a while. There's just better things. But I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and we're gonna make this fluffy list and then also add a Vermin Lord in it. Alright, and over here for the Undead, we have, I believe that is 3 Argast Archai. Those guys are crazy. We have, I think at this point in time, it is 30 skeletons, either 30 or 40 skeletons, 2 units of 2 bat swarms. We have a white king in between the skeletons and the and the bat swarms. I can't remember for the life of me the name of that guy who is really, really big, but he is who he's representing, so you know, I'll let you all figure that one out. We also have a Vargeist unit, a corpse cart, and a unit of 40 zombies strong with a necromancer tightly knit in between all of that. So, I'm kind of looking at this and I'm like, man, there are a lot of bodies, and we kind of just mirrored each other in a sense. So it's really cool that it wound up working out this way. All right, we go ahead and we roll off, and I wind up choosing the first turn or something like that. Regardless, I'm going first. So here we have before the movement, and here's me pressing forward. Go ahead and I usually move my hell pit first because it has that random movement, and I kind of figure out where my army's going after that. So then it's his turn, and he goes ahead and does a couple mystic shields, or does a mystic shield and does a couple of buffs to raise people and add more, you know, common undead things. You'll see basically what happens. So I believe he summoned a unit of 30 ghouls. So that's pretty cool. And then he got the skeleton spearmen maxed out. He got the zombies almost maxed out. I think they're at 60. I think 80 might be the max. But yeah, I think right now they're at 60. Something like that. And yeah, everybody just kind of moves forward. We're kind of not in range for magic or any shooting or really anything like that. So yeah. Alright, we go off to turn 2, and I wind up getting the second turn, or the first turn of the second round. So that's kind of cool because he really would have done some work on me if he wound up getting a double turn at that point. But here we have turn 2, and everybody's right here, and I go ahead and I move everybody up. I have a few charges to declare, but yeah, I was really hoping that my hell pit would have gone farther than just 5 inches, but you know, whatever. So I moved him first and kind of got everybody around, and then I realized that basically the hell pit is a 5-inch charge from like 4 different targets. So you know, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I kind of wish I got like a 10 or something like that, but you know, whatever. And here we are before the charges. Everybody kind of shimmies up, and I have a poison wind mortar back behind that wall. You can just barely see his gun by the candle on the left, but or his mortar. So here we have the charges after you know, all of the buffs, all of the whipping, and basically my giant rats are getting I think it was like 4 attacks apiece. Because of the Vermin Lord Corruptor's ability, and then the other unit is getting, I believe, 3 attacks apiece. I might be wrong on that, but basically they're hitting on 2s, wounding on 5s. But I mean, hey, that's a boatload. So I have the rat ogres kind of pressing a screen over there, trying to cut off the ghouls and the other units on the far side of the board from basically attacking my Vermin Lord Corruptor. Basically, I'm trying to use Plague this whole game. Gonna let you know right now, Plague never goes off this game. But, you know, whatever. So, what wound up happening with the Hell Pit is the Hell Pit wound up charging into the White King, which I didn't really think was going to happen. I thought I was going to wind up going into either like bat swarms or the zombies and then just kind of like pressing over. But I felt kind of cocky, and I'm like, you know what? This White King does a lot of benefits, so I'm going to go ahead and take him out as fast as I possibly can. So we have on the far side a really interesting combat because, like I said, everything is impassable. So we wind up getting these huge bulky units, and we're bottlenecking each other. We're two horde armies bottlenecking each other, which is just hilarious if you think about it. But yeah, so here we are with the combat. I believe I wound up doing a wound because of the poisoned wind mortar, or maybe it was the Verminlord Corruptor casting a mystic shield or arcane bolt onto them. Not entirely sure at this point because I think this game was like a week and a half ago. But as you can see, none of those rat men on the right are actually what they're represented as. They are in fact just giant rats. My giant rats kind of got pummeled a little bit, and I don't want to glue them. So this is basically before he does his pile-in. This is, you know, right as I do my charge and everything like that. But we wind up swinging. He kills probably like, you know, between 4 and 6 giant rats. But they have double the bravery that they normally would, and also the strength in numbers thing, so that's pretty crazy. So they wind up not losing any for Battle Shock. They wind up killing probably like 10 or 12 zombies, which is pretty cool. I was hoping for a little more because, like I said, each one of those rats was doing 3 attacks apiece, hitting on 2s, winning on 5s. I was really hoping, you know, like, hey, if I got 20, that'd be cool, but whatever. Alright, so we're going over to here, and I decide I'm going to attack the White King with my Hell Pit first. So what happens is, I go ahead and I attack the White King because I'm like, oh, you know, there's just skeletons with spears, you know, whatever. They're going to do like maybe 4 wounds to me because I have like a 4-up save. They're probably hitting on 4s at the most, maybe 5s, and then wounding on probably 5s. Oh my god, was I wrong. And I thought they all had 1 attack apiece. Oh my god, was I wrong. So I go ahead and I attack the White King, wind up killing him outright because, I mean, let's face it, it's just a Hell Pit. But then, as you can see from this wide shot, the Hell Pit has 4 wounds left on him now. So I had no idea how good these skeleton spearmen actually are in Age of Sigmar, especially a unit of 40? Oh man, or 30. It was maxed out. It was whatever that is. But dude, these guys are pretty legit. I actually did not look them up, but man, if I was undead, I would just have like, you know, 2 of those always, and just have them. Yeah, no, I mean they're pretty dirty, especially if they attack first on a round. Yeah, so we wind up getting into the combat. The giant rats actually wind up, you know, outperforming. Not for long though, because they get weaker as more die. But they wind up outperforming the zombies. They wind up outperforming the ghouls. And, you know, basically the biggest tactical error on this turn is now my Hell Pit's going to die. Which, if I kind of would have just, like, you know, not done that, then whatever. But I put him in this little corridor because everything was impassable, and it was just, you know, I couldn't pass it up. I couldn't pass it up. I probably should have. Oh, I wanted to charge the Necromancer, but the Necromancer wasn't within 5, so. Alright, roll off for turn 3. The Undead wind up going first. Ooh, okay. And, yeah, because, basically, like, he doesn't, on his turn, we wind up just kind of, like, all swinging at each other. Everybody who's in combat's in combat, and, basically, on his turn, he winds up killing the Hell Pit. So, shocker. So, this is actually the beginning of turn 3. And, yeah. So, basically, there's this huge old hole. A bunch of giant rats are dead now. And, yeah. Put a huge hurting on me. The giant rats that are closest to me just wound up absolutely getting mauled. So, over here, we have the Verminlord going in and attacking the bat swarm that kind of runs in and tries to, cause some distraction. But I have 2 pack masters and a Verminlord Corruptor on that. Also, I had my pack master get charged by his general. As you can see on the left, these ghouls are dwindling down, but so are the giant rats, and I can't regenerate. So I'm really hoping that I can get off Plague at some point in time and make a hole, and unfortunately, it just doesn't wind up happening. So we roll off for turn 4. The Undead chooses the first turn, gets a bunch of dudes up, and then just kind of is positioning. He's trying to eventually get these skeletons in, but he's really wary of putting them in that corridor because, let's face it, that's a death corridor. And I kind of move my guys back because I'm like, okay, this is the 4th turn. All I have to do is have more people around, and within 3 inches, and I'll wind up winning. So yeah, I kind of retreat a little bit and also charge in my Verminlord Corruptor. Wind up doing a boatload of wounds onto his guy, but he winds up doing a boatload onto me. All of the ghouls are gone, and I just have a couple of giant rats around on the Verminlord Corruptor side. Over here, we have everybody just kind of morphing in. I think there might be like 2 giant rats left, or maybe that's the Packmaster getting murdered. But Packmaster sacrifices himself, running into the Bat Swarm, trying to eventually get an attack onto that Necromancer because I really need to kill him. I needed to kill him on the 2nd turn, basically, but that didn't happen. And here we are. The skeletons wind up kind of like moving in. As you can see, there's nothing but giant rats around his general. I moved my rat ogres back into the range of the objective, basically just using my size to make a bunch of space around it, so he can't get in there with more guys. Also, I have a Packmaster blocking off the skeletons, and he's just kind of moving around. But we're looking at this, and that's pretty much a draw. Because the objective of the game is to have more people within 3 inches of a particular point. And, yeah, so pretty much it just wound up being a draw because he's missing that one. I have more guys over there within the range, and even if he kills all of those giant rats, he'll only have one objective point within 3 inches. And, right now I have one with that rat ogre, and he could possibly get there, but yeah, it was like already after we went through turn 5 a little bit because he was pressing forward, and we talked about it kind of like midway because it was like, oh no, like that was the objective. So we just decided to call it a draw, even though obviously, if this was attrition, he definitely would have won. I made a few tactical errors on my part for sure, but we wind up basically saying that the artifact was equally uncovered by one another. And yeah, so one of my warlock engineers actually wound up leaving at his house, so we decided that for the next game it would be me trying to save him. Alright, so we go on to the MVPs, and there is, of course, the Hell Pit, even though I misused him, the Verminlord Corruptor, because he's so awesome, and the Packmasters. Packmasters are just so essential to a Molder army. I mean, they are the brains of it. For the Undead, oh my god, those skeletons. Oh my god. Three attacks piece, hitting on 4s, and then it might have been wounding on 5s, but I'm pretty sure it was wounding better than that. It was probably wounding on like 2s or some craziness. And then zombies, man, you really can't beat all these bodies, especially with the fact that you can just regenerate them. I mean, come on, like that's awesome. That is the hoardiest thing that you can hoard for real. All right, and then also corpse a la carte, used in conjunction with all of these things, can make those zombies really not suck because I think it's like they don't take battle shock or something, or they get like a ward save or something crazy when the corpse card is around. So yeah, the corpse a la carte is pretty dirty when used in conjunction with zombies. Basically, just like a recap on a way that I could have potentially won. Um, I really just got to stop going after those big units, and because like I was trying to divide and then make a hole, and then just go and start wrecking face with a couple of those heroes that I have, or maybe the Hell Pit, but it just didn't turn out that way. I really needed to make some moves before turn 3, and just didn't happen that way. But, c'est la vie. We wound up calling it a draw, but it was pretty obviously, I mean, he pretty much won. But, alright, y'all, that is the end of this battle report. Again, thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Let us know if there's anything we can do different. Right now, we are actually using the General's Handbook from 2017. So if you've seen the ones in the past, we've kind of been doing the first edition of the General's Handbook. But from now on, we are actually doing the 2017 handbook. So go ahead and just let us know if there's anything we can do different, either with rules or production-wise. And yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Keep on wargaming.